number 2 on a Friday. This is The Herd, wherever you may be and however you may be listening, live in Los Angeles. iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, and FS1. Joy Taylor is joining me for hour number 2 today. Joy, how are you?
Great. Good morning.
Good morning. Kevin Clark in 15 minutes. Great NFL reporter. Very funny guy from The Ringer. He's got all sorts of good stuff. We got 4 great games this weekend. I mean, to me, they're all coin flips. I don't feel strong about any of them except Dallas. I do like Dallas by a touchdown. Through the years, I've defended Andy Reid. And because Andy Reid's done amazing things, and, he didn't have the benefit of having a Brady, Peyton Manning, Joe Montana, a Troy Aikman. So whenever people criticize Andy Reid, I just sort of roll my eyes. Bill Belichick, before Tom Brady, got fired in Cleveland and was 5-11 in New England. And then here comes Tom Brady, and it changed Bill Belichick. So I saw a story this morning, a guy on the internet, all 12 of the head coaches in the playoffs right now, all 12, come from the coaching trees of 2 men, Bill Walsh and Bill Parcells. All 12 coaches this weekend. Belichick, Garrett, Anthony Lynn, Bill O'Brien, Sean Payton come from Parcells. Pete Carroll, John Harbaugh, Sean McVay, Matt Nagy, Doug Peterson, Frank Reich, Andy Reid come from the Bill Walsh tree. Now, of course, the difference is Bill Walsh is considered greater than Bill Parcells because he had Joe Montana. That's the difference. He had Joe Montana. One of the reasons I've always liked Andy Reid is he has elevated, extended, or saved the careers of 5 quarterbacks. He literally got 5 different quarterbacks to the playoffs. Donovan McNabb, Jeff Garcia, saved Michael Vick's career, Alex Smith, and Patrick Mahomes. That's unbelievable. Now, Belichick gets all the credit because, he wins Super Bowls, but that's because Belichick has Tom Brady. He was fired in Cleveland. But here's what's remarkable, and this is why I've said Andy Reid's the most undervalued coach. Not to say that Belichick's overvalued, but look at the coaching tree of Andy Reid. Look at the resonance. Look at the impact. Look at the influence in the NFL right now. John Harbaugh won a Super Bowl. You have Frank Reich, probably the AFC Coach of the Year. Matt Nagy's the NFC Coach of the Year. Doug Peterson won a Super Bowl. Ron Rivera, Todd Bowles, Pat Shurmur, Sean McDermott, who got to a Super Bowl? Ron Rivera got to a Super Bowl. So the difference between Parcells and Bill Walsh, one of them had Joe Montana, and the other had, Phil Simms, Jeff Hostetler, Tony Romo. Good players, but not Joe Montana. The difference between Andy Reid and Bill Belichick, one has Tom Brady and one has had Jeff Garcia. So when you talk about coaching trees, and I think this stuff matters a lot, it's resonance beyond yourself, impact beyond yourself, influence beyond yourself. Look at Andy Reid's coaching tree. It branches, it's beautiful, it's flourishing, it's a very healthy tree. Look at Bill Parcells' coaching tree. That thing needs watering. That's not very good. His guys have all been mostly busts, except Bill O'Brien, who's been a marginal success. So Parcells I've always been a huge fan of because I think he took less and won a ton. That's not to say Bill Walsh wasn't great, but if you have Joe Montana, that's an advantage. I love Belichick, but a big part of his legacy is Tom Brady. Andy Reid, like Parcells, has resurrected, saved, elevated all sorts of careers. Tony Romo ain't Tony Romo. Parcells found him, Parcells groomed him, and then Parcells hands him off to Jason Garrett. So this goes back to why the people that don't get Andy Reid, I kind of roll my eyes. It's like the people that don't get Parcells. You have to put everything in context. Andy has taken 5 different quarterbacks to the playoffs. He was not given the opportunity to coach a legend. Here's crossing your fingers and hoping Patrick Mahomes is his legend. So this weekend we got 4 games. And I would say this year there has been a sense that we have a little bit of a revolution going on in the NFL. The college coaches are now moving to the NFL, and you got the college offenses all moving to the NFL, and everybody's like, man, it's an offensive revolution, and it's really interesting. So let's go to the 12 quarterbacks in the playoffs this weekend, in no particular order. Brady, Breeze, Foles, Goff, Lamar Jackson, Luck, Mahomes, Prescott, Rivers, Trubisky, Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson. Okay, here's the 12. 8 of them are overwhelmingly pocket passers. I mean, Phillip Rivers couldn't outrun my microphone. He's really not athletic. But of the 12 quarterbacks, 8 are what you would call classic pocket passers. 4 others, Lamar Jackson, Mitch Trubisky, Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson, are legitimately, they can throw from the pocket, but they're like all-time clever scramblers. So just think about that. So as much as we think there's a massive revolution in the NFL, 8 of the 12 in the opening round are pocket quarterbacks. By the way, 3 of 4 quarterbacks that got byes are pocket quarterbacks. Is that we think everything is changing in the NFL. No, it's not. The 2 stats that you can tie to winning football in the NFL, ball control. 9 of the top 11 teams in time of possession, 9 of 11, made the playoffs. What does that mean? Offensive line, defensive line will win playoff games and get to the playoffs. The second stat that wins games, steady, low turnover quarterback play. The top 7 teams in turnover differential, meaning they didn't turn it over, all made the playoffs. So I think sometimes we do this in sports. We think, oh, my God, it's changing. I can't believe it. The NFL is changing. It is still overwhelmingly a pocket quarterback league. Of the 8 this weekend, only 4 are dynamic runners, and 3 of the 4 with byes are pure pocket passers. And my gut feeling this weekend is Lamar loses, Deshaun loses, Russell Wilson loses. Mitch Trubisky is a heavy favorite to win. I would not be shocked if Philadelphia won. So as much as we think the NFL is changing, you know, I talk to executives regularly in this league, and they all point to 3 things. Find your quarterback. Okay, that's number 1 in this league. Find your quarterback. Number 2, build both your offensive and defensive lines. And the next thing is, you know, on Sunday, don't turn the ball over. That's the league. Find your quarterback, build your lines, and then on Sunday, be really, really careful with the football. 1 turnover max. We'll give you a pick. If your quarterback's challenging defenses, we'll give you a pick. Don't fumble. No excuse for fumble. It's your ball. Don't let anybody have it. You can have an interception a week. If your quarterback throws 32 times, throws a pick, it means you're throwing the ball aggressively down the field. But this league, everybody thinks it's all crazy and clever and it's being reinvented. No, it's not. No, it's not. Draft a quarterback, protect him, throws from the pocket, don't turn it over, you'll win your games. Coming up next, a very clever, very interesting NFL writer for The Ringer, Kevin Clark. Love having him on the show. Greg Jennings today as well. Don't go anywhere. In sports, there are smart moves and moves that would be termed not that smart. Call a timeout to set up your final field goal. That's smart. Call a timeout with none left. Penalty, not so smart. Same is true when you're hiring. Job sites that overwhelm you with tons of the wrong resumes.